Hello there, I'm
And
Robert.
I'm Vanessa.
And we are late to the party. We were fortunate enough to be able to check out an early screening of The Harder They Fall, and we're happy we did. The movie itself was a damn good time. I had a lot of fun with it. We live in Arizona. We are deep-seated in old-school filming locations for Western films. We did a whole entire filming locations video on Tombstone. If you want, check that out on our channel. And this movie brought all the Western to the table.
Yeah, and I feel like, as the years go by, it starts to slow down the genre of Western,
Sure.
but I feel like the way that they did this movie, it really did kind of do homage to what Westerns really are. You have those classic tropes that Western movies had,
Sure.
but with a different twist on it, which I really enjoyed.
The opening packed a wallop. The beginning of the movie gets you. Inglourious Bastards comes to mind with the opening scenes where they introduce the hero, the villain, and of course, what conflict is lying ahead that needs to be resolved by the time we reach the end.
One thing that I also love about Westerns too is the way that they do their title cards, the way that they stylize it. And in this one, it was no exception at all. Like, they did such a fantastic job. The way that the title card of They Harder They Fall, I think, in my opinion, was probably one of the best ways that they can introduce what the movie's called.
And the music as well, when it came to those title cards, the sound effects, you get that very Sergio Leone, Ennio Morricone. But if you were to take Ennio Morricone and replace a lot of his instrumentals with chorus or choir, like, that's where you end up getting a little bit of difference when it comes to the style that this movie has. And the title cards themselves are one of the ways where, like, okay, you guys are in like one of those kinds of Westerns. You're going to have some fun here. You are definitely invested when it comes to the villains and the heroes by the time you reach the end of this film. And for me, the scenery was so damn good in this film. You got a good Western when your actors and your characters can play against a backdrop that is real. It looks like you're in the Old West, but a little bit of style when it comes down to this movie.
There are certain things that I felt like were kind of off. Like, the pacing for me personally, I felt like they could have it was a little too fast in some parts and then slower in others, so it felt like we're stop go a little bit. But that didn't really hinder from what the story was about and my enjoyment for the movie.
For me, what made it feel worth it was the camera shots. Like, it gave me so much time to, one, appreciate the wardrobe, two, appreciate the actors, three, appreciate the settings around it. But those camera shots, like, there's even certain ones I'm like, I called it out. I'm like, are they going to do that? Oh, okay. Oh, they did that. Okay, I'm happy they did. So, and that's throughout the whole movie. These stylized camera shots that they use that haven't been done. You haven't seen really drone footage in a Western, especially when it comes down to those staring down the streets situations.
Some of the shots are really good when it comes down to the camera work,
Yeah.
for sure. Even like the way that they have these characters come into the story and the shifting in the camera, shifting to one place to another, it does feel very Western.
And again, all of it put together, stylized by the music and the costumes. It was a good job. But not only the camera shots and not only the acting, but the stunt work. You got a lot of gunfights. You got explosions. You got brutality. And the villains are so brutal. But no, they do what they should do, and they make me feel invested and feel bad at times for the villains.
And I think it was on the part of the characters too, and Idris Elba and Jonathan Majors and Regina King, like the way that they played these characters
Zazie
and that
Beetz. Lakeith
Zazie Beetz,
Stanfield.
like,
Oh. Oh.
yeah, he did a really good
Oh,
job.
man.
The emotion that they brought to these characters was really great. That you, like you said, at the end you do invest in a lot of what they are trying to do. I also love the fact that we have characters in the story that were actually real people that did exist back then in the Wild Wild West. And granted, the story is going to be fictional for sure, but the fact that you're able to bring these characters into a fictional time, it made me think like, oh, okay, well, these characters are real. I kind of want to see like who they actually were back then, and
Do a little research.
Do a little research. There you go. Do a little research on these characters because
Educate
they
yourself.
deserve, if these characters were real, we want to know who they were and what they did back then because that's, history.
And of
It's
course,
cool.
this is dramatic, it's stylized. It's not exactly what went down,
Right.
but they take things that have happened. There's plenty of the times in this movie for that era. You have a majority black cast and they kill it living in a world where they were completely persecuted, looked down upon, and not at an equality level as everybody else. And they do a good job at dancing with that and feels like having a little fun on their end with what was going on in the time in terms of the conflict against the African American community in America.
I think the set pieces were beautiful too. Like the way that they used the set pieces in the movie was really great too, because just like the characters and just like the story that you're going on along with them, what helps it is the environment that's around them too, the set pieces that they're using or utilizing in the story. And I really enjoyed what they there are certain scenes in this that I'm like, oh, okay, this is I like where you're going with this, and I enjoyed it.
Everything was planned out on their part.
Yes.
Everything. It's not just we're going to go shoot a Western with a black cast. No, we're going to bring everything to the table that this cast has to offer, as well as all those behind the scenes that are creating it on every level in terms of, filmmaking. And everything had something to say, and that's what I loved about this movie.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm not a huge Western fan. Like, that's something that I don't go and be like, okay, I want to watch that to watch that.
Sure.
I have to be in a mood to watch it for sure.
Correct.
But I hope that we get to see more of these types of movies. Even if it's in this world, I hope we can see more. Maybe in this world.
Yeah.
But I hope that we do get to see more movies because I am interested to see more what they can do in this environment.
But you guys can check out The Harder They Fall in theaters, certain theaters, starting October 22nd.
Yes, and then you can also catch it on Netflix starting November 3rd.
And that's the thing that sucks, man. We go to these screenings, these digital screenings, and you have no control when they're going to drop it. It even started late compared to what they said it was going to do. So we want to do a reaction to it, but you never know when it's going to start. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh wait, did it start? Oh, damn. Okay. So you can't really do reactions to it. This is one where I would have liked to seen reactions to certain elements. You get some of it in the trailer. Holy crap. You have no idea in certain scenes that are in the trailer what actually transpires long form because it's brutal. Definitely check it out. Thank you for checking out this review. You can also like and subscribe.
And do the thing on our Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Discord.
All the social networking gin joints, you know where they are. Kick into the party, fuel the party, keep the party going on our Patreon. So much coming out in the next few months. It's going to be crazy. So make sure you guys hit that sub if you have not already. Check out our reactions to Squid Game, the entire first season, on our channel now. Thank you guys so much, and as always,
now it's time to say goodbye.
This party's over.
Bye.
Bye.